Well, today I want to talk about Gloria and her son-in-law, George, that he was talking on the TV on Channel 118, British Columbia, Canada, at 7 o'clock in the morning, and he was saying that a house and a car, it's not a wealth. But I differ from him. A house and a car, it's a wealth. If you got a job, you're a wealthy man because you eat every day, you sleep, you got a roof on your head. But if you got nothing, it's when you got nothing, no job, you're on the street and you had to beg for your food. That's not a wealth. But now he say that George, the son-in-law, and later on he say another thing. I'll tell you. But now he was talking about the Jew came out from 300 years of bondage, of sacrifice, and came out. And all the rabbi came out with 90 donkey each. They had all 90 donkeys, those rabbi. They had a wealth, a big wealth. But he never finished a story about that. He never say that they all end up in the desert for 40 years. The donkey were all dead. It didn't take too long because he didn't have grass to feed them, the donkey. It things that they don't say. They like to talk about the wealth, about pay your tithes. God, what did Paul did? Paul took the tithes that they give to them and he brought it to the Jewish nation. He didn't brought it to the preacher. He brought it to the Jewish nation, the rabbi, whatever, their church. And what God say, you feed your preacher, is why he say offering. Offering should be the money they should live out of it, not riding jet and have a private drivers. They live high hog. Why should we give them 10% of our wage? You know, they're wealthy because they got 10%. You make $1,000 a month, and you're going to give him $100. Why don't you give him $25 for him to eat and to put his jets beside? The things cost $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year, probably more, to look after. You know, why don't you give him $25 and you keep $75 and you feed your neighbor, the one who's starving, and the one who got leprosy, and the one who drink bad water, corruption? Why don't you people start to realize that those high hog worker, they preach, send your tithes, send your tithes. Don't give them your tithes. They're going to have to sell the darn jet, and they're not going to have a private driver, you know. Hey, Joe, can you pick me up, bring me to the airport? I had to ride my plane. We're going to go here today at $4,000 an hour. Those planes, when you fly, probably more than that, probably $5,000, $6,000 an hour. Who are paying for that? It's all the follower who pay the tithes, and every 2 minutes they preach about the tithes because they want money. Because the money go down a bit, they preach about the wealth, their wealth, not your wealth, because you don't have a wealth. You work 40 hours, you make $2,000 a month, you know, and you got a hard time to make it, and you're going to give them $200, you know, then they're the one who laugh way down to the bank. They sleep, they got good time, they like the one who call them the big, what's called that name of the place where they make $900,000 a year, the president and vice president, plus expense, and the United Way, who are filthy rich, And those guys make $900,000 a year. The president and the vice president plus expense. Plus they got 10 employees. They put a place 40. They don't have 40 employees. They got 10 on the phone who makes $110,000 a year. Hey, it pays good for 40 hours work, you know. The worker paid their money. You know, I'm so tired to hear about those ministers. Me, I'm not a minister. I'm not a preacher. I'm a prophet. I say to you what's coming up. You take it, you leave it. But one day, you're going to face the reality. Now we're on the third seal. On the fourth seal, you're going to be really surprised. When the Muslim, you're going to have to start to get your guns. And when you're going to come on your balcony, you're going to have to do something right or you're going to die. Because there are 200 million of them. And they're not a little group like the Hells Angels who are 600,000. We talk about 200 million. Now the Hells Angels, they feed the people with their drugs, you know. They live out of the poor, like the preacher who ride their big jet and their big Rolls Royce. You know, they feed themselves out of the poor who make the little bit of money and give them a 10% of their check. I'm shame on them, you know. I cannot respect any preacher who preach, pay your tithes. No, give them an offering. They deserve to eat, but they don't. They deserve to go preach to animal and collect multi-millions of dollars. I disagree with that. And how are we going to be disagree until I die? Me, the guy say, you're not frightening to die. I'm not frightening. I know when I'm going to die, I got a good right place to go.